Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to Tuesday's Talk Time with Pastor Krista. So if you tried to join us yesterday, I'm just going to give you a little reminder that we're doing talk times now on Tuesdays and Thursdays because our Sunday school would officially be over until September. I'm hoping we can gather again in September, but if we can't, then we'll go back to Monday through Friday, I promise. So I am dressed like this today with my hair in a ponytail, in my exercise clothes, because after I film Talk Time today, I am gonna go exercise. Because taking care of our bodies are very important, especially if we're living in a routine that's a little bit different from the routine that we know. And that sure is the case for me. I'm used to exercising on Tuesday and Thursday nights at church with my friends, and I'm used to going to the health club and exercising, and I can't do any of that right now, so I had to come up with a plan B. But it's also a good idea to come up with a plan B for your mind, because God asks us to keep our mind and our bodies and our spirits healthy. All three things, mind, body, and soul, those are all very, very important for you to be a healthy Christian walking out in this world and doing the good things Jesus wants us to do. So how do you keep your mind healthy? Well, there's a few different ways that you can do that. One way certainly is to pray and to read your Bible, to surround yourselves with good people, to have good conversation, and always to ask questions. And the other way you keep your mind healthy is to give yourself a chance to dip your toes in some water that you might not have dipped your toes in before. So let your mind think about things that in your heart you might not necessarily agree with. So what do I mean by that? So let's say that you have always thought one way and you're pretty sure your one way is right. It's okay to read things about the other way, because when you do that, you just learn a little bit more. So I'll give you an example. I'm a Christian because I choose to be a Christian. I have friends who are Jewish because they were raised that way and they've chosen to be Jewish. I have very good friends who are Muslim because that's the way their family raised them and that's what they choose to be. Now, I am very sure and convinced that I love Jesus Christ and that I am Christian and I was called to be a Christian. But I read about my Muslim friends and what they read, and I read my Jewish friends and what they read, and I watch, even on Friday nights, a service, a Shabbat service for one of my Jewish friends, because that's how I learn and that's how I keep my mind healthy. And when I'm done with all of that, again, I know for sure in my heart Jesus Christ is for me, and that then keeps my soul healthy. So you can see how keep your body healthy so you can go out and meet different people and experience new things and respect differences in other people, but then you come back and your soul's still good. And if your soul's not good, then maybe you need to think a little bit more, and you see how that circle just keeps going and going and going. So today we're going to talk about popcorn. What does that have to do with keeping our mind, our body, and our soul healthy? I am going to tell you. So I'm kind of supporting the Boy Scouts here a little bit today. I've got kettle corn and movie theater popcorn, and I popped myself up some movie theater popcorn. So I am going to pour the popcorn in the bowl. But first, I'm going to give you a little microwave popcorn clue about how to make it taste really good. We want all that saltiness, because remember, God said, you are the salt and the light. We want all that saltiness off the inside of the popcorn container. So I'm going to shake it up and make sure I get all that salt on my popcorn. And then I'm going to open it up and watch this cool technique. I dump it in right to the bottom, and then I shake it just to make sure all the salt gets on the popcorn. Because if we're going to be good Christians, we got to be a little salty, that's for sure. Jesus sure was, wasn't he? So now when I pour my popcorn in the container I have for popcorn, and I'm really hoping there's a kernel on the bottom because I need a kernel for an example, and there is. Most of the popcorn pops up to be a really cool piece of yummy popcorn, and that's the part we eat. But if we get a kernel of popcorn and we don't know that we grabbed it with the popcorn to put in our mouth and we chomp down on that, it hurts because the kernels of the popcorn are hard. This is how this bowl all started out. It had these little kernels. These kernels are not meant to be eaten like this. You couldn't eat it, your body couldn't digest it. But when we put it in a little oil and we give it a little heat, it pops into this awesome and delicious piece of popcorn. So what's the lesson there? Well, I think there's two lessons there. One is that you can take something or someone that's very hard on the outside, very difficult to get to know, very difficult to like, and sometimes when you're put in a little bit of heat, all of a sudden something beautiful comes out of that. Something yummy that's delicious and digestible. Something easy to like, something easy to love. So let's talk about a man that started out as a little colonel, and then he got himself into kind of a little heat, but he put himself in that position, and he ended up coming out like a beautiful kernel of popcorn. His name was Nicodemus. Now, Nicodemus was a man who was a Pharisee. And Nicodemus was one of the members of the ruling group or the council, the Sanhedrin, that made decisions about what would happen to Jesus. And Nicodemus felt in his heart, like he grew up one way, but he felt in his heart that Jesus really was the Son of God. And Nicodemus didn't have the courage to go visit Jesus during the day because he didn't want anybody to see him visiting Jesus. So Nicodemus tiptoed at night and he snuck in and he knocked on Jesus' door. He's like, Jesus, it's me, Nicodemus. Can I talk with you? And Jesus, being the awesome guy he was, they went outside and they talked all night long. And when Nicodemus left Jesus, Nicodemus knew that Jesus really was the Son of God. So Nicodemus started out at this really hard, tough colonel, and he chose to put himself in a place that was a bit of a hot mess because he knew if somebody saw him talking to Jesus, he would be in trouble. But he sat with Jesus and he took that chance. And what happened is after time with Jesus, he walked away. Instead of a hard kernel that was hard to digest and hard to love, he walked away like this awesome piece of popcorn that's really easy to digest, to sit down next to and talk to, and easy to love. Now, we don't hear a whole lot about Nicodemus in the Bible after this happens until Jesus dies. And then you want to know something really cool? Nicodemus shows up at the cross after Jesus has died. And when they take Jesus' body off, Nicodemus shows up with 100 pounds of spices to help prepare Jesus' body for burial. Now, how much is 100 pounds? When you know the bag of sugar, the bag of flour mom or dad has in the pantry at home or in the cupboard, that's only 5 pounds. So you would need 20 of those bags. Nicodemus hauls all these spices because he wants to take care of his friend's body in death. And that really is a very, very beautiful, beautiful story. So I want to read to you just the beginning of Nicodemus' story, and I hope that you look it up in the Bible and that you read a little bit more today so you can hear a bit more about Nicodemus. And this is taken from John 5, and it says, "Now there was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a member of the Jewish ruling council. He came to Jesus at night, and he said, 'Rabbi,' which means teacher, 'we know you are a teacher who has come from God, for no one could perform the miraculous signs you are doing if God were not with him.'" So Nicodemus took a little time to know somebody different than him. And when he took that time to know somebody different than him, I lost my kernel, but that kernel, that hard outside, that part that he was so sure of, kind of popped away a little bit. And he came to know somebody who was different than him and to love that person. And that's a really good lesson for these times, guys. Sometimes we're so sure of what we think that we don't take the time to immerse ourselves in a little bit of heat, in a little bit of questioning. And sometimes we pop and we come out more beautiful than we ever started. So I hope today that you walk out into this world, that you check out things that you're not sure of, that you check out things that are a little bit different to you, because you may find that you will pop into this beautiful piece of popcorn that people will love, and because then your soul will be good your body will be good, and your mind will be good. So I'm gonna go exercise, but before I do that, we're gonna sing a song, and we're gonna sing This Little Light of Mine because I feel like it today. It's gonna be a nice day, so let's sing about light and brightness and not hiding your light so other people can come to you. Here we go. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Don't you try to it out, I'm gonna let it shine. Don't you try to it out, I'm gonna let it shine. Don't you try to it out, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All around this big wide world, I'm gonna let it shine. All around this big wide world, I'm gonna let it shine. All around this big wide world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. So let's do our benediction, boys and girls. And remember, I won't see you tomorrow, but I will see you Thursday for another really good lesson. So here we go. My heart loves your heart because Jesus first loved us. You have a really nice day, and we will see you Thursday. I'm gonna go exercise now. Bye.